Greetings Exo Fighters, FiOth here, and in this video we'll be taking an in-depth look at Deadeye, the poster boy of EXOPRIMAL. Deadeye is as straightforward as they come. He's the least combo reliant of all the Exos, and he will get the job done without requiring you to pull any straight strings. He's an assault rifle wielding frontline combatant with extremely high DPS output if you know how to use him. So we're gonna take a look at his ability first, and then we'll talk combinations of rigs and enjoy some gameplay. His basic attack is the Ravager, a stable, fast-firing assault rifle that can be fired while steady acing or from the hip. In both cases, it is pretty stable and pretty accurate as long as you compensate a bit with your mouse or your aiming stick. If you wanna optimize your shots, as with most shooters, you do not want to be moving like this. You do not want to move your ADS around. What you want to do is keep firing while strafing, and this will allow you to lay the most damage on the targets in front of you. In most cases, those targets will be hundreds of raptors, so it's very hard to miss. Basic attack he's using to deal the damage is his underslung grenade launcher. Very effective, very reliable, and it can double damage any target it actually lands a direct hit on. So there is a skill ceiling there. You can go for area damage or you can go for concentrated damage on the initial target and then damage the surrounding area with a splash. It takes a bit of getting used to, but landing those direct hits is certainly worth it. Now his L1 is a dodge. There's nothing to this dodge other than it dodges. It's not like barrages that deals damage. This dodge will only get you further away from your starting point, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't do anything else. What you can use it for is relocate your aiming reticule whilst you're in the dodge, so you don't have to slowly turn around like this. You dodge and reacquire target at the angle that you want. As in most cases with shooters on controller, you don't want to move your head around looking for targets, you want to be doing something in the meantime. In most cases it's dodging. His punch is his most underutilized and underappreciated ability, and that is because people just hit the button and see a minuscule amount of damage while the enemy is pushed back. There is another layer of uses for this thing though. Because Deadeye cannot really fly or do any crazy dashes, he might get cornered by the onslaught of dinos. What a charged fist allows you to do is push those dinos much further away and cause much higher damage in order to kill some of them and clear a path so he can move forward. Up close, it is a very viable tool that I've been underestimating since the beta. I pretty much never used it. Now that we have a very good idea of the abilities, let's talk overdrive and optimal usage. His overdrive is straight up damage AF in front of him, and it is glorious to behold. There is very little that will survive this. And even if the enemy expects it, if they don't have a good counter plan, there is no way they will live to tell the tale. What can we do to make it even better though? We're gonna go into the rigs section for that. What I suggest you don't use is aid. Aid is not very good for Deadeye, but everything else pretty much goes. Cannon will help you deal damage in a straight line. The blade is very good for the PvE section because it stuns the dinos. Drillfish has a variety of uses, but it is a bit risky because you need to charge it. The thing about shield is that one would suspect that it would shield you whilst you are using your overdrive. Sadly, I've tested this and it is not the case. As soon as you hit overdrive, it will dissipate and you will still be a sitting duck. That leaves us with Catapult. Now Catapult is insane on Deadeye for one very specific reason. If you want to unleash your overdrive, you're pretty much a sitting duck. You're stationary and you are on the ground or a few feet above it because the jump is just a simple jump. He cannot do what Vigilant can, for example. But if you jump and then use Catapult, you go real high, and from then you can rain death upon your enemies. That will in most cases realize what's happening a bit too late. A surprise attack of the salvo mid-air will have the enemy look up, realize that you're attacking them, but before they can retaliate most of the time, they will be dead. So Catapult is ideal for Deadeye's PvP phase, whilst the Cannon, Drill Fist, and the Boomerang, the Blade as it's called, are very strong for the PvE phase. So with all this information out of the way, let's enjoy some gameplay and see what this little guy can do on the field. In this part, I don't really want to tire you with much Dino combat. We are at the final phase of Cube Escort, and here we'll be engaging enemies one after another. These people, I don't think, knew exactly what they're getting themselves into, because sometimes, especially the tanks and the healers, think that the shield buffering or the healing buffer that they provide will help them survive insurmountable damage. In case of Deadeye though, they didn't see this kind of damage coming. As you can see in this clip, with fire support from my squad, I keep racking the kills one after another, and these poor souls can barely do anything about it. Of course, there's something to be said about the overall strength of the team, and the game doesn't always do the best job of balancing what each one of the squads can do in relation to the skills of the other. I don't know if there is MMR involved here or if it's all a crapshoot, but whatever it is, as you can see here, things have been turning out very well for yours truly. A lot of kills, and by using all the tools at my disposal, there was very little downtime. This is very important to understand in a game like EXOPRIMAL. You have to manage those cooldowns. You are not doing anything effective if you don't know what is available for you to use. And since you have to manage pretty much three things at any given moment, that is your grenade, that is your rig, and your punch, I'm not gonna take the dodge into consideration, because instinctively, if you know that the dodge is there, you're gonna use it when you need it. But if everything else gets tied together and you use it to the best of your ability, you can pretty much erase them before they know what's happening. This poor Skywave there used her ultimate to escape the massacre, but as he was casting and was stationary, I just decimated her with the Ravager. The damage output of this thing is insane, and later on you can also customize it so subsequent hits will deal more damage than what they would deal normally. When you're firing this fast, this little extra damage really racks up, and you end up getting some pretty powerful results. Here's the grenade kill or this Krieger, and the end of the game. A very satisfactory conclusion. If I remember correctly, I was MVP in this one. I racked up a ton of kills, got a ton of medals, and without doing anything fancy, as you saw there. So practice a bit with Deadeye. Don't bother with the fact that he's pretty much the quote-unquote starting EXO. He is extremely powerful. I don't know if they're gonna nerf the Ravager at some point, but until then you can enjoy some high AF DPS. Sub, like, and share for more content like this, and until next time, stay shiny like chrome. Cheers!